Hey guys, welcome to Graphing Linear Inequalities Day 1. Today we're going to find solutions of inequalities and also then sketch their graphs. So if you ever see an inequality symbol, like a less than or greater than, it means there are infinite amounts of solutions, lots and lots of them. There's not just one, because it's like all numbers less than something or all numbers greater than something. So there's tons of solutions. And let's actually start down here by saying, if I give you an XY ordered pair, you have to tell me yes or no, is it a solution of this inequality? So how do you guys think you would do that? If this is X and this is Y, what if we just plug them in? Like plug in 0 for X, plug in 0 for Y, and then just see if it's true. All right, so on the calculator here, I am just going to do it straight on here. So X is 0, and then we have minus. 3 times Y is 0, so 3 times 0. And then I want you to hit equals. So don't type in the 6, just hit equals. We got 0. All right, so when we plugged in 0 and we plugged in 0, we ended up with 0. So here's the question. Is 0 less than or equal to 6? Is that true or false? And you would say, yeah, 0 is less than 6. So then that means that yes, this point was a solution of that inequality. All right, let's try number 2. So we're going to plug in 6 for X and -1 for Y. And you can just do this straight on the calculator. So X is now 6 minus 3 times Y, which is now -1. All right, we're just going to plug them in and see what we get. We got 9. So here's the question. Is 9 less than or equal to 6? And you would say no, so that means that this is not a solution. All right, so I'm going to skip 3 and 4, but same idea. If you plug them in, I'll do this one quick in my head because I know this video is going to get a little long. -0 plus 2 times 0 is 0. Is 0 less than 8? Yes. And then this one, -0 is 0 plus 2 times 4 is 8. You get 8 is less than 8. 8 is not less than 8, so this would not be a solution. All right, now let's talk about graphing these. When you graph, and first of all, cross this one off. This is way too hard for the first day. Let's make it y equals 1/2 x minus 3. So please change that right away. Now, how do we actually graph these on like a coordinate plane? So step 1, you always need to isolate the y first, meaning get it in y equals mx plus b form, because that's the easiest way to graph a line. Oh, and actually, guys, instead of equals, let's make it less than or equal to. Sorry about that. I'm so used to y equals. Number 2, you're going to actually graph the line. So graph the line. And then number 3, you have to determine what kind of line it is. So determine if the line is, and here's your options, solid or dashed. And we're going to talk about that later. Determine if the line is solid or dashed. And then number 4, you have to shade the correct region. And we'll talk about that too. All right, so isolate y, graph the line, determine if it's solid or dashed, and then shade the correct region. So let me talk you guys through one of these guys. All right, so first step, get it in y equals mx plus b form. Got it. Second step, graph the line. So remember, this -3 is the y-intercept on the y-axis. Make a dot at -3. And then the 1/2 is the slope. So rise over run, up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2, and that's going to be our line. Now here's the new stuff. We're not going to actually draw a line necessarily. Okay, so here's how you tell. You make a solid line if it's less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, because the equal tells you that the line is included. So notice we have less than or equal to, so we actually are going to make a solid line. You use a dotted line if it's just less than or just greater than, but not equal to. All right, so it's always going to be one of these. And then we have to shade, because if it says less than, we don't want just the line. We want which region is less than this line. Okay, so you shade above if it's any kind of greater than or equal to, because greater than means above. And then you shade below if it's anything with a less than or equal to. So notice on this problem, this is a less than, so we're going to shade above or below. Well, less than means below. So final answer for these, it's going to be a line with one of the regions shaded. Because inequalities means tons of answers, not just one line. All right, let's try one more on the back. What about number 1? So first of all, y equals mx plus b, it's already set. So we're going to start by graphing this line. Start at the y-intercept at -3. And then the slope is up 4 over 1. So up 4 over 1, up 4 over 1. Okay, next up, do we want a solid line to include it, or do we want a dashed line to not include it? And because it's greater than, not, or equal to, we actually are going to make a dashed line. Okay, that means you don't want to include the line as your solution. And now we shade. If it says greater than, that means above. So it's a little hard to see, but this line is separated by above the line and below the line. So we want to shade the section that's above because it says greater than. All right, let's do one more. Let's do number 3. That one looks kind of tough. All right, last one. It's already in y equals mx plus b. And then the 5, this one was actually like reversed. The 5 is actually the y-intercept. So make a dot at 5. And then the slope is actually, remember the secret ones, if there's no numbers there, negative slope, 1 over 1. So negative means down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Okay, now do we want a solid line or a dotted line? Well, we don't have an equal, so we don't want a solid. We want a dotted. So make a dashed or dotted line. And now we shade. If it's less than, that means below. Okay, so do you see how this line separates it by above and below the line? Less than means below, so you shade everything below, and that's it. All right, nice job, guys. I'm going to stop there. We will do more in class tomorrow. Thanks for watching.